Hey everybody, this is a very flustered Miss Kemp because I've already recorded this once and I somehow deleted it. But this is week 2, day 3 of Number Talks, and we're talking about using 5 times to solve our problems. So let's look at 5 times 5, and I want you to solve this one mentally. If you need to stop the video now and solve it, please do. Most of you already knew that 5 times 5 is 25. This is just not the prettiest too. One of those facts that we have memorized because these doubles facts are kind of easy for us to remember. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, and 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so let's look at another one. Solve this one mentally. If you need to stop the video, please do. Please remember during our number talks, we are trying to use mental math. 5 times 2 is 10. Most of you probably knew that when you multiply by 2, you're actually doubling. So if you double 5, you get 10. So let's look at the next problem. Now I do want you to stop the video for just a moment and work on this one because this one's not one that we know like that. Okay, you should have gotten the answer of 35. Now thinking about using 5 times to solve this problem, what was your strategy? If your strategy was 5, 10, 15, 20, counting by 5s, that's not a very efficient strategy at this point in 3rd grade. Counting by 5s is an efficient strategy at the beginning of the year, but now it's not so much. So let's think of another one. What about distributive property? Because I'm working with 5 times, I know 5 times 5 is 25, and I know 2 times 5 is 10, and 25 plus 10 is 35. When you're using the distributive property, you want to look at the fact that you can break apart. There was no need in us breaking apart a 5 because we're really good at multiplying things by 5. When I broke this 7 apart, it really wouldn't have been efficient for me to break it into a 4 and a 3. 4 and a 3 are not as easy for us to multiply by as a 5. We know those facts pretty easily. And if I had broken into a, let's say a 1 and a 6, that might have benefited me if I knew 5 times 6 was 30 plus another 5 would be 35. But we want to start thinking about dividing it in the 5 times. So let's look at another problem. Five times 4. So I want you to stop the video and solve this one. Now remember, we're always looking for the most efficient strategy when solving this, okay? And different problems have different strategies that are more efficient for that problem. And all of us, our brains work differently, so some strategies are more efficient for us than they are for other people. However, I always want to push you to the strategy that is most efficient for the problem. So with this one, I might think to myself 5, 10, 15, 20, but remember we wanted to stop counting by 5s. So I know a double. 4 times 4, I know that one, it's 16. If I divided this into a 4 and a 1 times 4 is 4, 16 and 4 make 20. Now for me, this would not have been the most efficient strategy. However, we are working with using 5 times, so that was the strategy I was pushing you to today. For me, though, the most efficient strategy would have been this. It would have been to use the distributive property to divide the 4 into a 2 and a 2. Because I know a 4 is a double-double, I would double the 5 and get 10, and then double the 10 and get 20. But today we're kind of focusing on this strategy. But for me, this one still would have been the most efficient for my brain. So let's look at another one. Now this one's not one that we will know real quick. So I want you to stop the video, mentally think about it, and as you're thinking about just getting the answer, think about how did you solve it to get to that answer. Think about our strategy. And most of you should have gotten 28. If you've got something different, then watch as we work this through. Now my strategy today is using 5. Can I pull a 5 out of that 4? Do I like to multiply by 7s? 7 is that odd number that's hard to work with, but I know inside that 7 there's a 5 and a 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 5 times 2 is 10. Why did I do 5 times 2? I'm confusing myself. I know why I did it, because I'm thinking of a different strategy that would be easier for me. 2 times 4 is 8, and my answer would be 28. Now this strategy was hard for me because my brain was kind of wired to think about it like this. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 and 14 make 28. For me, this double was an easier strategy. However, today I was trying to push you to get that 5 out, because as the numbers get larger and you're using the distributive property, 5 is a good number to pull out. Over here with this 7, 4 and 3 would not have been good numbers to pull out because we don't know those facts so quick. 6 and 1, not good numbers to pull out either because we don't know those facts quick. Because if you're saying 6 times 4, I can guarantee you if you really think it out, a lot of you are saying 6 times 2 is 12. If I double the 12, I get 24. So you're going through all these steps. And we want to think about the most efficient strategy when we're solving these. I'm going to cross my fingers I don't delete this one this time. And I hope everybody has a great day. See you next week.